I've seen it, I've looked at it, I never thought that deeply into it, but yeah. But yeah, I could see the horns, that's a goat.
Yeah, it's totally
It's a goat horn.
Pan, Baphomet, some goat deity.
Yeah.
Walk with me, talk with me. Good morning. It's early. It's a given. We got a lot to do today. Welcome back to Olympic Strange Days, the channel. So today we're headed out towards a place called Discovery Bay to talk to recent UFO witness Rich Germeaux. Now you may know Rich from his experiences while he was an ex-lawman on duty in La Push, Washington, where he had a close encounter of the furry kind, which would be his Bigfoot sighting. A lot of you in the world kind of know about Rich's story as it pertains to seeing a Sasquatch on multiple occasions, a couple of times while he was on duty. He's also one of the co-founders of the Olympic project, but we're not really following up on most of his Bigfoot stuff today. Today's going to be a sighting report based upon this silver tube that he said he saw floating in the sky, a UFO. I don't know much of the details. I told him not to tell me. Rich and I kind of are neighbors, and I didn't expect to interview him for a while on his theory about ancient archaeology out here in the Olympic Peninsula. So we may get into that as well. There's some other interesting stuff I want to show you first, but here we go. Black. It's black as midnight. You're in my house. And these are our new cement countertops done by Rich Germeaux. Pretty snazzy. We have an old school kitchen here and the dark hallway where the rest of the house is fast asleep. I don't usually wear a beanie in the morning, but under here is a real explosion. So I gotta get ready. We'll head out the door. Next stop, hang out with Rich for the day. All right, I'm here with Rich Germeaux. You probably recognize him from A Flash of Beauty and his Bigfoot story, right? If you haven't seen it, you can go check that out over at Flash of Beauty on YouTube. Good to see you, man. It's early. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so for people that don't know a little bit about your story, just tell people like the Cliff Notes version of how you got mixed up in all this strange and unusual stuff. I mean, you were a cop at one time and you saw a bunch of strange and unusual shit, but it wasn't anything like what happened to you on Third Beach. Was it Third Beach?
La Push Beach, first beach.
First Beach, okay.
Yeah, it would be First Beach.
So just give people, that was where you had your first sighting?
Yeah.
Just give people the Cliff Notes version.
I was a police officer, La Push Police Department. I was driving into work one day about 7:30 a.m. I was down on the, 7 o'clock p.m. probably, between 7 and 7:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
July, so it was totally daylight. And I was driving into work. I was on the reservation, come down the hill past the second beach parking lot, which takes you south down towards the beach, and around the corner down to the lower village near Lonesome Creek. And right about at the culvert where Lonesome Creek goes under the road and out to the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
something, a large figure came out of the brush on the ocean side of the road, and then it proceeded to cross the road in front of me and then disappeared into the brush line.
And what exactly did you see?
Like a large bipedal humanoid type figure, probably looked like it was covered in all dark hair, one color.
You go right back to the station. Did you keep it to yourself?
I went to the station, and then my coworkers saw that I was shooken up, that something had happened to me, and they asked me, what happened to you? And I hadn't said anything, and I just came in, and they obviously noticed something on my face. So they asked me, and immediately I just blurted out, I seen a Bigfoot at Lonesome Creek.
No discrepancy in that. You don't think it could be anything else?
Oh, no, not that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Well, because, there's just certain attributes to it that were indicative to not being a human being.
Right.
And, and I always bring this up, and it's just part of it, but that in my job, I'm at work and I'm always on alert, right? And I'm an observer. And so if I notice anything out of the ordinary, it's going to trigger certain measures that are going to make me immediately think deeper into it to identify it. Because obviously I'm in a threat type assessing mindset because I'm at work. And even if I wasn't at work, I would have went, but especially because I'm at work and I'm in my place of work, the jurisdiction.
Right.
And so as soon as I see something that's abnormal or possibly threatening, just because you don't know what it is, you're going to start asking yourself immediate questions related to that and trying to figure it out. Because
so did it haunt you? Were you hounded by the sighting? Did you forget about it?
No, I was excited, and fearful and all those other things, but mostly, excited, enthusiastic. It was almost like it was being reborn again in some ways because, all of these childlike, qualities that you enjoyed when you were a kid, like mystery and, using your imagination on it, all that got clicked back on or the gas pedal stepped down on it because,
right.
You just got exposed to something real magical in a way that it's
something that shouldn't exist.
But for sure, unequivocally that it does because you just seen it.
Well, and this is what you say in A Flash of Beauty, which really captures the imagination. You say, I just saw something that shouldn't exist, but it exists, or something to that effect. And I think that's really the best way to say it, is it changes you so much when you find out there's these hidden realities. So you've been in pursuit of these hidden realities, a lot of different rabbit holes. We won't have time to go down every Rich Germeaux rabbit hole, but one in particular is this Tartarian stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so I want to talk to you about Tartaria, but I also want to talk to you about your unique sighting you had less than a week ago.
Oh, I think it was Sunday night. Oh, there's this thing out there that I guess it's vertical in nature, and from that first vantage point, it was closer to me, but it was still a long ways away. And based on where the mountains were at and the position, I would say that it was somewhere in the middle, out there in front of between me and the edge of the Olympic mountain range. So I would say probably, and I would say that it was probably somewhere at like 6,000 to 8,000 feet in elevation.
Okay.
Somewhere like based on where the mountains were, because I watched it, but then I started to think about it more in my
Describe exactly what you saw.
So at first it looked like it was vertical, but it was tapered on both the top and the bottom.
Okay.
Right.
It's vertical, not horizontal. Okay.
It was in a vertical nature, and it was big, right? Very large, and it was really bright because it was reflecting the light off of it from whatever the sun was. And at first I thought it was a chemtrail, so I was looking at it. I didn't stop at the lower part when I seen it. Kind of wish I would have, but I kept driving up the hill. It took me like maybe 3-4 minutes to get up there. And then there's a lookout point where you can get up on a hilltop right there, and you're looking at it, right? So when I got up there, it appears to be a lot closer to the mountains at that point, right? And I started to notice of it too that it was tracking with the sun. It was moving at the same speed as the sun was, right? And when the sun was going down, it was going to go down over the horizon, right with it, or
So not a sun dog, because a sun dog would follow the sun.
And you don't have a camera, so a sundog shouldn't be presenting itself anyway.
No, it was following the sun, no doubt about
Okay.
it. And it was big, and I would estimate based on size. And here's where I could be off. I'm trying to gauge, you know, how I know it's large, and I'm trying to gauge how big it is as it's. I didn't even know it was moving until I got to the top, and I'd seen, oh, it's tracking with the sun. It's
Okay.
moving. Right. And the perspective, the change of the view of it, then it looked more like a cylinder when I got up there from that position. My whole view of it kind of changed because I kind of came around like this. And I watched it till the very end, and then that's when I noticed it was moving because it started to move faster when the sun started to go down over the mountains.
Okay.
Right? And then I watched it disappear right over the top of, like, it looked like probably, it's right there, Mount Townsend area.
And it kept the same vertical nature?
Yeah, it never moved.
So
It never moved. It didn't dissipate like a cloud would spread out or dissipate. It stayed exactly the same, like the very dense.
Did it look like a tubular cloud?
Kinda,
Yeah.
but I would estimate, based on the whole time that I seen it and everything, take into consideration, it was somewhere between 300 and 500 feet tall. Right.
And how long did you watch it?
Total, both times, I would say 6 or 7 minutes.
Wow.
I had binoculars, 10 power, under there, and I never even thought to pick them up. But I don't know if it would have made any difference anyways, really. Maybe. But it was,
And you can take us to the location and show us exactly
yeah, I'll show you
where?
exactly where. It's cloudy now, though, so we won't be able to see.
Yeah, but we can look at Onyx and get an appreciation for where
Yeah.
it was.
So, but that's what I noticed at the very end, that it was most obviously tracking with the sun. It was moving at the same speed and timing of the sun. Because
Right.
you know when you notice the movement, like it speeds up at the very end when it goes down.
Right.
This did the same thing. And I don't know what it was, but I seen it right away. I'll explain it. So I was coming down the road close to here, off of, I had come off Center Road,
Okay.
right? Actually, I was on Center Valley Road, and I took a right onto, should I say the names of the roads?
Well, it's up to you. Just say I was
It's
nearby.
right next to my-
Just say you were nearby.
So I was coming next to my house, and I'll give you the
And turn this way because I don't want to get that mailbox. I'm trying to avoid your address.
You want to stay right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just give you the direction of travel that I was heading. I was heading southwest, right? Or no, I was heading. I was heading south, but then I had turned and I was heading kind of north, right? And I was coming up in elevation, and the backdrop is there's some farmer fields and some hills with trees on them. And then when you look back beyond further, you're looking at the northeastern corner of the Olympic Mountain Range, right?
Okay.
So I'm coming around the corner, and I immediately see a plane spraying a chemtrail up high because it was really clear, and that you could see that there were some dissipating chemtrails that had made some hazy like clouds that were out there. But the sky was like mostly really super crisp and clear, especially, you know, out towards that direction. And the sun it was close to like probably 4:30 or maybe like 4:20 when I first seen it. So the sun is really low, and it's getting ready to, you know, it's making its way to dip back behind the Olympics, right? So I noticed this plane doing this chemtrail, right? And it was doing it intermittently, and it's way up over here, this direction I'm driving to my truck. But then I see something that I first thought was a chemtrail. What kind of fucking cloud is this? Excuse my language, or a chemtrail. And I was looking at it, but it's really dense looking, right? And the sun is over here, and this thing is here. So that huge sun is reflecting that light off of this thing.
All right, so we're here, Rich. Where are we looking?
Okay, I came to this intersection here, coming from that direction, and I was going to turn right, and I was sitting here and looking. I noticed the plane going across up here. There was some...
The plane was moving from this way, so that's north.
This way to that way. It was going north to south, right?
Okay.
Kind of out here, and it was doing an intermittent chemtrail. It did it for a while, stopped, and then did it again where it put out a big burst from the back end. And then that chemtrail was dissipated. But I noticed something over to the right of it that was really bright. like whitish gray dense. And I said, oh, is that a chemtrail? But it was in a vertical configuration. It was real tight and compact, right? And it was off of to the right of where that chemtrail came across. It was right over that way, kind of suspended up. You know, looked to be kind of even lower.
Point exactly to where you saw it and how high off that ridge.
Okay.
Like a hand length, 2 hand lengths?
I would say it was at 3/4 of a hand length from the top of that ridge up in the sky, but far out that direction, right?
Okay.
So it wasn't super high, and it wasn't, it was under 10,000 feet, I would say. And it was out, at least from my perspective, and it was out beyond those hills, right? And it was in a vertical configuration, and it was really bright, and it looked dense. And I kept watching it. I was like, that doesn't look right. And it was like tapered at the end, but still kind of narrow. It wasn't real wide. It was.
Could you draw what you saw?
Yeah, I'll draw it. Like the density was not changing, and it's just static up there. It looks like it's not moving, right? And I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Get a better...
And at the same time, this chemtrail is just kind of really quickly turning into a fog, you know. And they've been working this area earlier, and it wasn't that bad. But
for people that don't know what a chemtrail is, because some people may not, what are you talking about? It's
a discharge from the jet that are flying, where they do these crisscross patterns of this discharge. And you see them working every day doing it, especially in clear skies. They don't do it too much.
So you're not talking about vapor from hot and cool engine thrust. You're talking about a chemical?
Well, it's not vapor, because you see it come on at will and then turn off and then come on sometimes. It's not steady, and it's like, you can see that there's a pattern to it when they're doing it, right? It's like obvious that there's some sort of intent related to it and a desired result of what they're doing. It's not like as if these are just planes traveling. They're up there specifically to put something out. And I've actually seen one over here where there was a jet that was going vertical, and then all of a sudden it discharged 2 different colors at once, one off each side, and a huge stream going vertical.
Colored chemtrail?
One pink, one white, off each side. Each side it was putting one out from. And there's been several whistleblowers come forward now that claim that this is a CIA program, and that's what the chemtrail is.
Do you think it was related to what you saw, the chemtrails being
and that
laid
thing? No, I don't
thing?
think so. I would speculate, but I was noticing what caught my attention to it was a contrast between it and the chemtrail activity, because I was comparing the two at the same time.
And it was a perfectly blue sky?
Oh, it was crystal clear, and really, really blue, and getting darker, and it was getting dimmer because the sun was about to set over here, and the sun was still up, but the sun is big at this point right now, right? It's big because it's about to go down. And at the time I was watching it here, it seemed to be static and not moving, but it wasn't until I drove up the road and parked on top of the hill where the perspective of it changed. It looked further away at that point from me, which isn't that far of a distance. So, and I couldn't really understand, why does it look further away? And it looked more cylinder rather than tapered at the end from that perspective.
Get out of here. This woman's about to have a cow. She thinks we're doing something great. Rich, we couldn't do any talking because of the music in there, but we did get a drawing here, and I showed you how similar it was to The Arrival, that movie there. So, like, predictive programming is a thing, like, through the culture of movies. That's pretty bizarre.
I never saw that movie.
No, but it's pretty true to life. It's not really a spectacle. It's more about, like, the implications and the psychology behind seeing a UFO. So, where are we headed now? Because now we're leaving behind outer space and we're going back to inner space. And we're headed to Port Townsend, which I've shot there before. It's kind of Was Port Townsend the original Seattle at one time? Was it?
I think that they projected that it was going to be Seattle.
Okay.
It was in competition with Seattle to be that main epicenter.
So what are we going to do there?
We're going to go to the courthouse, the Jefferson County Courthouse,
In search of?
to look at and maybe seek to look into documents that back up. Well, documents related to the construction of the building.
Okay, but your hunch is, and this is getting into your theory, is that there is some kind of cover-up going on about ancient archaeology that was here, pre-native?
Yeah, I don't think it's related to this area in particular. This is a broad, conspiracy that covers the whole world, related to certain architecture, certain buildings that are not from our civilization.
Your theory is a growing theory that there is this cover-up going on regarding ancient archaeology here, pre-Native American possibly, that was covered up through a mud flood? Is that the theory?
Yeah, the mud flood. So I don't know what the mud flood has to do with it, but there's maps from the 1500s that show California as an island.
So let's go to City Hall. Let's give people an example, though, of the kind of architecture that we're talking about here. Why don't we go to Manresa Castle, show them the kind of architecture that exists for Manresa Castle, and then we'll go to the courthouse and see what we can find. Jefferson County Historical Society. Looks like they open up, Rich, in about an hour and a half here.
Yeah.
So let's go show people a little bit about what we're talking about as far as just how stunning these old buildings are. All right, where are we, Rich?
Manresa Castle.
Okay, and why is this a part of the mystery of ancient archaeology or Tartaria?
Well, I think you have to look at collectively the big picture, that this building, the courthouse, the Jefferson County Courthouse, and the post office were all allegedly designed by the same person, I believe, and built, constructed, and completed between 1891 and 1893 by, I believe, the same construction party, right?
Okay.
And this was the same brick originally as the courthouse, right? But it's been covered over with stucco by the Jesuits, I believe, in the 1920s when they took over. And allegedly that the brick from this building and the brick from the courthouse were imported from Portugal.
So there should be adequate blueprints. In fact, they should celebrate this, this mastery of building, right, by the Mr. Eisenbeis. So we're going to go in here, research a little bit as far as just walking through the building. This is also where I used to do my live show under a different name, Strange Brow Radio, and we'd meet here once a month. So we know that it's haunted based upon the experiences we had here, at least on 2 different occasions, proof of that. This is a Mexican restaurant now, a full bar on both sides. And then this goes up 3 stories, and most of the ghostly activity happens up here on the 3rd floor. There's a creepy room hidden off-site, the 4th floor. Now, if you go left here, from my understanding, Rich, this is the dungeon.
Okay.
In fact, look at what they call it.
It's got to open. I mean, it's open.
Again.
That might be Eisenbeis and his wife.
Okay. This is proof that there was a little child involved. Yep. And this has all just been speculation. But that's definitely him, right? Because you have pictures of him over here.
Yeah. I mean, it's so whited out, it's really hard to see.
All right, so where are we, Rich?
This is the Jefferson County Courthouse.
Okay. Yeah. And so what's so unique about it?
Well, I mean, this is that typical Victorian, what they call our Tartarian type, where you see this, the same thing repeated all over the world. The brick is the same color as what you see in Red Square in Moscow, and look at the quality of that brick. I mean, they've done annual upkeep to this building to keep it nice, but look, it's not eroded at all. It's like the stuff is pristine. And you also look at this whatever that is, plaster stone up there where they have the art up in the corners, the seashell, the woman, the cherub up there in that. I mean, this is all indicative of repetitive of the same stuff you see in Europe. You see it in Asia. You see it all over the place, the same type construction. I mean, look, that's all sandstone. Look at how ornate. This is the original entrance. So you have this metal, it could be copper or whatever these steps are that go up to here, and this, all this material, this would have been, okay, consider this is 1891 to 1893 when they started construction of this. There was nothing but wagon trails up in here that came up from where the port was. There's no real roads, not anything significant. You know, the brick allegedly imported from Portugal. So this is allegedly not the original entrance, but
It's pretty grand entrance.
it's pretty grand, yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah, I've seen this. But how do you do that? I mean, can we recreate that today at that level? Probably with lasers and technology and stuff, but what kind of skill do you have to have for that?
Another one over here, different than that one. This one shows the teeth. That's impressive. So this might be representation of Baal. You see the horns? So this is a land spirit or a goat god deity. This looks like something you would see a Baphomet. You see this?
Yeah, I do. But
Yeah.
I think they would tell you that those are depictions of Native American, probably. That's what the historical records
No
say.
way.
Here it is. The plans adopted and contract awarded 1890. Commissioners Andrew Wellmouth, John Huntingford.
I didn't even notice that this guy had horns as well. And you can see he's a different kind of spirit though. Teeth aren't bearing, but definitely some kind of horned god.
What was removed from here? Why is that?
This is an ancient glory hole.
Is that a Bigfoot? It certainly looks like it.
I'm gonna have to zoom in on this because
It's a Bigfoot right
there's
there, dude.
what appears to be a Tonaqua or a green man with his tongue sticking out. It totally doesn't fit with any kind of
1891. Yeah.
that doesn't make a lot of sense unless that is like
It's not
their
a
version.
Bigfoot, dude. Hair around the whole face. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
No cell phone keys, anything like that?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
We're doing
Documentary on the architecture.
Okay.
Is that cool?
It is cool, just be
got
cognizant
change,
of, you know, personal offices
that
and that
need
kind of
to
stuff,
change?
but no, you're fine.
Wait, hold on. Going all the way up.
because these iron stairs, I think, all this iron that was put in here after the fact.
Wow, look how big the stairs are. Like I need a wide aperture to record here. What's that? Yeah.
I got to okay before I went and found you guys.
Oh my gosh, do you have time, Rich?
Yeah, we can go up.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, cool.
Public building.
Nice.
Wait, I'm not on it though, right?
I'm Tobe, this is Rich.
Hey, Rich, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I won't put you on if you don't want to be.
No, okay.
How often do you do tours? Okay, when's the last one you gave?
A few weeks ago.
Okay.
Depends on the folks who's available, because you see we have to go right to the office. So yeah,
Wow, it takes the wind out from under. There's no elevator up here.
no, so it's not, no ADA access here.
Cool. We weren't expecting a VIP treatment. Oh my gosh. Rich, go ahead. Have you ever been up here?
No.
I don't think there's too many people that have been up here, that live here.
Yeah, that's true, that's very true. And people that work here.
Wow,
Everyone wants to do the tour.
look at this view. What do you want to tell us about this? We don't know too much.
No, there's a sheet downstairs that has all the stats on this. The bell, right now it's being worked on, the clock tower.
What are they doing to it? Just
The clock tower itself, you'll see, it's 2 floors up from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a mechanism that they're repairing.
Okay.
But then when it works, the hammer will hit it.
Yeah.
You can
Oh, do that again.
Is
That's
there any
like,
engravings on the bell at all or anything?
I don't think so.
okay.
Oh yeah, there's something on the back.
What is that?
It's writing.
Some kind of inscription?
Oh, there's an inscription over here. It has information.
It says art.m.
And be able to see.
Oh, I see it. It's all rusted.
And if you stop right here, you can see And this little drawer,
Yeah.
I can't get it.
What am I doing here? Opening this?
Yeah, open it, you see the pendulum.
Oh my gosh. That thing never stops. Unless it's told to. Oh, this is like a scene out of Back to the Future. Or like a Buster Keaton. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful that is. That's incredible.
Has it been kept like this, or did it get restored?
Great questions. I know they have it maintained on a regular basis, so I'm not sure that involves central services is in charge of that.
Underneath this place.
Even here with the water being right.
Yeah, we'll see when they originally came in, they developed everything and started building right. And then for some reason they went a level up. So they just built roads and then covered up the bottom level of all the storefronts. These were government projects even back then. I mean, this building was originally built to be a government building, not to obviously function a county government. It was like a commerce building or something, and I know the post office was constructed for the same reason. Allegedly because of, they projected this to be the location.
I heard that, yeah.
So they built these big government federal buildings to help manage different aspects, commerce, immigration. This might have actually been an immigration building originally.
So that was pretty wild. I mean, we didn't expect to get a tour like that.
No.
Was there any questions? Well, first of all, it's like super secret squirrel that she even did it, because we had to go through the prosecutor's office up to the clock tower, and then I couldn't film. But she said that was like the child.
Well, because there's sensitive information in there related to records.
No, the stuff on the wall. I pointed out, said, who scratched on the wall? And she goes, it was a child prison or something like that.
A kid's prison up there.
Yeah. So we walked through the old, maybe like abandoned orphans, right? Like this is the whole thing with Tartaria is the orphan train.
Yeah. Well, I saw a date on the wall scratched in 1971, so it wasn't that old.
No, so there were kids locked up in there.
Lock them up in the attic.
In the 70s. Oh, see, where are we going to the Rothschild house?
And just drive by the post office.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a drive-by, but I really want to go by the Rothschild house because there seems to be hints of there still being some kind of Kabbalah mysticism happening there. And when we get into who the Rothschilds were in Hudson Bay, some of these original shipping companies that came in and out of here, this is how they amassed their wealth, correct? The Rothschilds?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So, Rich, we're here still in Port Townsend outside of what is known as the Rothschild House. And if we're talking about the original founders and the architects and builders, the Rothschild's name keeps coming up time and time again, but also to like conspiracies of crazy stuff. So here we are. What do you have to say about being here?
What I know about Rothschilds here is that Rothschilds came here pretty much at the very beginning of the town. At the beginning of a town, as essentially as a merchant, he helped build this town up and form it, and also he held land patents, which are ownership documents that exempt you from tax or anything of that nature. It's different than a title of all the area, I believe 40 acres, which is now the Port of Port Angeles, and all the industrial area down there. So the Rothschilds had essentially seized that area, and this family is associated with the Rothschild family that we know of from
Has
Europe.
to be.
Yeah, I believe
These are the
Austrian
bankers, right? These are the
this is from the main family.
The best view in town, really, because it takes up both sides of the bay. You're at the corner of Port Townsend, looking west and north, Whidbey Island, Seattle proper, Indian Island, actually, a covert nuke base. Imagine the Rothschilds sitting out here looking out, smoking a cigar. Now look at this. This has been boarded up. This was not boarded up, so this was done in the last 6 months. And look at what's right here. See this red string hanging off the doorknob? So this is mysticism, right? Kabbalah, the red tie.